Good evening, gentlemen. How are you both? You okay?
Nice and hot.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, very hot outside.
We're
It's a good
missing
day.
we're missing one of the gentlemen who's had to he can't be here today. Um, any comments on the fact that a certain person isn't here, or are we just gonna?
Well, you said missing. I disagree with that straight away.
Never missing.
I'm not missing him.
Well, I didn't mean it missing him, but
No.
yeah, fair enough.
I spoke to him today.
Anthony, any
To be honest, he's related to Ty, I think, from the Gooner TV. So I'm not really.
That's who he's probably gone to dinner with, actually. All right.
Probably.
Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch on dilemmas again, and basically we're going to stick for the minute with Chat GPT, which is where we've got this one from. I'm going to read out this dilemma to you guys, and then we're going to discuss that. And then what the AI has done is it's given us some stuff to look at after that to kind of broaden it out a bit. So we're going to jump into that. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. The dilemma, and it's titled "The Friend, the Crime, and the Camera."
Okay.
You're out with two of your oldest friends in a pub. One of them, let's call him Jamie, is a bit drunk and goes out for a smoke. While outside, he gets into an argument with a stranger, and in a moment of rage, he punches the guy hard. The stranger falls, hits his head, and ends up in hospital in critical condition. Jamie runs back inside, shaken, and tells you everything. He's panicked, and he ran. And no one else seems to know what happened except you. Next day, CCTV footage is released to the public showing a blurry figure who definitely looks like Jamie striking the man, but police don't have a positive ID yet. And no one's come forward. Jamie begs you not to say anything. He says it was a mistake, he's sorry, and he's afraid of losing everything, his job, his family, his freedom. He says, "You're my mate, please don't turn me in." But the man, he's still in hospital in a coma. His family are pleading for witnesses to come forward. Do you protect your friend, or do you go to the police? Anthony, sir, we'll start with you. What do you do?
Well, this is a subject which, funny enough, I spoke about 2 weeks ago in my class, right? So, I teach people martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this was the main thing we were discussing is like how you de-escalate a situation and how you should react in confrontation. And the matter of fact is, if you have any kind of skill, any martial arts whatsoever, you get into a fight, you're accountable, regardless, because you got to prove to the court what was unnecessary force, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why when people get into confrontations that are not trained, who don't know what they're doing and do not understand street fighting, when things like this happen, it's like, I didn't know it was going to go this far. So for me, if I have a friend who does something like this, and I'm in that situation, they come to me, the first thing I'm going to say to him is, right, you're scared. What actually happened? And then break down what actually happened. For me, because I do street fighting and stuff like that, I can tell if somebody is putting a little lie on me and knowing exactly how much force was used. Problem is now, the family of that person who his life has ruined, they're now trying to pick up the pieces. And you are right smack in the middle. Because if your friend is repentant and he explains that it was self-defense, or, there was something where, he came at him, it's a different thing, because it is self-defense. And obviously by defending yourself, this is what happens. But if it was just like two guys having a disagreement and your mate is the person, it's a difficult one, because I'm going to turn around and say, mate, you've ruined the family. And I'm very straight like that. You've ruined the family. And when it comes to confrontations, that's my subject. When I say, no, there's no mark there. There was a point where you could have literally walked away. You could have actually run away. You could have, but you didn't. You chose to do what you did. And you have to face the consequences. And so for me, it's a difficult one, but depending on the severity and what situation happens, I would actually tell him to hand himself in.
Okay, but and I hear you, but the dilemma here. So your friend has run. He's got no intention of handing himself in. He said he's very sorry for what he's done. Do you protect your friend or do you go to the police? He's run. The police have come and they're asking you. Do you know what's happened? Do you know
So
what's
if
happened?
you knew what happens, and then obviously you become an accomplice, then don't you?
Mm-hmm.
See, so under letter of a law, you are now accountable as well, because you. So now you're in that position where if you don't come forward and he gets into trouble, and then they find out that you knew about it, then you're in a situation because they're going to come to you. You knew about something, you didn't come forward. Then now I'm in the shit. Pardon my French. So I'm sorry. I'll have to look at it. How is it going to? It's like telling somebody, I've robbed the bank. From the minute you know about it, you're part of it, right? I don't want to know. I'd rather not know. But you do know. So it depends on how that will affect me by knowing this information. And that sounds selfish, but it now becomes that way.
No,
So
I hear you,
affects
bro.
me, if it does affect me, I'm going to say to him, look, I'm sorry, I don't want any part of this, so you need to hand yourself in. If it doesn't affect me, then I'll say to him, then it is down to you now, your conscience. But I all know about this, and you don't know how long that person will be paralyzed for. You don't know how that's going to be the family. And then I've got to live with that guilt as well. So it now becomes my guilt as well as his guilt.
So do you protect your friend or go to the police? Which one do you do?
Mate, why do you do it like that? I don't know. All right.
Okay. Okay.
I need a minute to think about it. Yeah.
Okay.
It is. I did.
All right. Win. What do you reckon?
Gosh, yeah. This is why it's really important to understand the people that you're around and their characters.
Yes, sir.
It's so important because I've had lots of different types of friends over the years, and I'm going to get back to answering the question, but I've been in situations where friends are really easily aggressive once they've had a few drinks. I'm going to say that, and they've got into situations, and I've been there, and I've had to get into situations with them. But after a while, it gets a bit tiring when you've got characters like that around you, because you go out, you don't know what's going to happen by the end of the night. You could be ending up, having a good time, a jolly old time, or you could be ending up in prison, or you could end up in a hospital. One of the three. So it's really important to understand character. So, and I'm going to go back to this thing, character, because I would have to understand my friend's character. If he was not the type of person that would get into a situation, because I bear in mind, I don't know what happened outside. All I know is that they've got into some argy-bargy. He's come back inside, he's a bit rattled and he's jetted. So, and that's probably because of fear. So now I'm left with, like Anthony said, I'm left with an ethical situation and a loyalty situation, which is unfair to me because I didn't do anything. I didn't cause no problems. I didn't come out to cause a fight. If I came out to cause a fight, then I'm in it with him. Do you know what I mean? But if we came out to have a drink, then he's put me into a bit of a situation. But I'm going to assume this character is you two, one of you two. And I know that if I went out with one of you two and you got into a fight with someone, it's 100% going to be on a defensive. So what happened to that geezer? That he deserved it. In my head, that's what my mind's gonna tell me, because I know that you two are not gonna come out with me and cause problems for no one, because you're not that type. You're not those type of guys to put me in a nonsense because you got into a bit of argy-bargy. So on the basis of that, I'm gonna say that I'm going to potentially, like what Anthony said, find out from you what happened that evening, and on the basis of that information, I'm going to either be loyal or do what's ethically right. Now, if I find out that you started the trouble, then boy, you might be in a bit of trouble. And that's me now. The younger me, I would have been just like, nah, man, we're brothers together. We're gonna ride or die.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, not no more. That doesn't wash, because we are older, we're wiser, and we know how to manage these situations a lot better. So if I found out that you started the trouble because you was having a bad day, then you might find yourself in a bit of trouble, because I'm not gonna stand for you in that situation. But if I found out that guy that maybe pulled something on you and caused the problem, and then you knocked him out, then I'm gonna be loyal to you.
Yeah.
Because that information changes things.
Yeah.
If it came to it was a murder inquiry, oh boy, that's a very difficult situation now, because my morals and values will be going nuts now, because someone's died, and that's a serious situation. So I don't know, like Anthony, I don't know exactly what I would do, but that situation would cause me a lot of distress. 100%. If someone had passed away, that would cause me a lot of distress. So I'm leaning towards having to say something, because my morals, my values are saying to me, look, that it's you've crossed the line to a certain degree. But there is situations where there is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If someone starts troubling you, they punched you first and then you knocked them out. You know, you got what you deserved, as far as I'm concerned. So there's a thin line here, and I think what negates, if I'm going to speak about the situation, if that person passed away.
It's self-defense, though. That's the thing, though, Winnie. If somebody and then you hit them back in self-defense, obviously you might have hit them slightly harder. But the fact that there's a word that actually say, I fear for my life. If you tell the person, I fear for my life, it almost becomes like not justified, but you're now saying to the person, you've now put me in a position, I'm saving my own life.
Yeah. And I get that. The issue is now I'm becoming judge and jury in the situation. So, and I don't really want to be judge and jury in the situation. I want what's just in the situation. So for me, it's like what's just is down to a judge to draw the conclusions. So ultimately, I'm going to be on my buddy's side, because one, first of all, I don't believe that they would have started the trouble, and two, at this present moment, this person is unconscious and not dead. So I'm going to be steering towards siding with my friend. But if it crossed the line where someone passed away, well, we've got
So,
you know, or became brain dead or something like that, then it's a completely different story.
So for this situation here, when the guy is in a coma,
Yeah.
okay, so if he doesn't wake up from that coma and he passes in that coma, it changes for you?
Yeah, 100%. Justice would just kick in, man.
Okay.
I know what kind of person I am. I'd rather go to jail, personally, myself.
Okay.
No.
No, I respect that.
Especially if the person deserved it. Like if my mate told me, like, yeah, man, no, man, he was out there, he was giving it to me, and he did this and he did that, and
he broke a bottle and you know, and
I just clobbered him, and then he deserved what he got, man. But if I knew that my friend was the aggressor, which I've been around people that they are the aggressors, they start trouble, they have a drink, and they want to kick off. Yeah. If they're that type of guy, then I was just like, yeah, man, no, you fucked up, man. You're not pulling me down with all that bullshit. No way. Yeah.
No way. Yeah. I've got to say, just here. Sorry, carry on, bro. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I hope you understand the kind of the direction that I'm going with.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like you said, Anthony, because you've got a lot more knowledge of the situations that would happen on the street in that sense, like the laws and the implications of all of that. And Winston's brought in a different part, which is I know the pit, and I've got to say I echo I don't know these kind of laws, Anthony. You know, like the bit that you know with the techie stuff to do with, right, okay, if I say that, I'm letting you know. But again, as I understand you, my friend, I know you're not going to be one out there. You don't need to be a traffic light in a Ferrari and rev your engine, right? You know what you got under the hood. Okay. So again, I definitely concur in the sense that we've been out together and we've had people that have been aggressive and under the influence and drinking, and a whole world of craziness has gone on. And we could definitely have been put, after the melee of what had gone on, we could have actually have been in that situation once or twice, and I understand that. So my bit is, I've got to be honest, as I've got older now, I mean, as you know, I choose very carefully who I will go out. I'm not somebody that goes to the pub anyway. However, if I'm going to the pub with, say, you two and Mikey, I know that that's a safe environment. Again, as you said, these are not people that are going to kick off and just cause trouble for the sake of it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think there are certain characters that I know. I don't know whether I would put them in a friendship group, but they're definitely people that I have association with. That if they come in and told me it, yeah, I'm definitely not taking the fall for these guys. Definitely not. And the justice would come in, because that could be somebody's brother, it will be somebody's son, could be somebody's dad, the whole 9 yards with that. I don't find it, in and of itself, I don't find it that complicated. I would be petrified myself, but my bit, as you said, Anthony, not to be selfish, but my bit would be, hang on a minute, you've brought me into this situation, and now I've got to look after you. That's what I would be angry about. But if it's one of those calm characters that I know, then there would be, what the hell has gone on? So for me, if it was one of us or Mikey, for me it would be, look, stay around, let us call the ambulance and the police and say what's gone on. Because I wouldn't be so scared, if I'm honest with you, in that sense. But for me, on this one, it does depend on who that person is that's come in and said, I've just hit somebody and now they're out cold. It does depend on who that person is. It really does.
Nick, can I ask you a question though?
Of course,
if the person
Yep.
comes to you and says, call the police straight, call the ambulance, there's a situation that's happened and, you know, I'm sorry, this is what's happened to me, blah, blah, blah. The guy came out, I'm seriously, is he okay? Because you can start to see that the person may not have actually wanted the situation to happen.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was put in that position.
Yeah.
Then you can almost judge. Oh, come on, we've got good judge of character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I can see. Like Willie said, we know each other. We're not that kind of people. We're not going to go out and have a fight. So you know, if something's happened like that, if you did that or Winnie, I know this is not you. This is something that they did. So I'll kind of go what Winnie said as well. I probably would be a little bit more like, no, I believe you, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, Anthony. I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. It depends on who. There's a couple of people that if I went out and that situation happened and I went out with them, I'd be sitting there so angry at myself because what the hell did I come out with these guys for when I know that this is their MO? I know that this is their thing. So what the hell? Yeah. So now I've been an idiot because I put myself into a situation like that. If I go out with you guys or I'm not worried about anything like that. It's just a very different. Okay, so
it's amazing though that that those characters that would behave in that manner are not around me right now.
Yeah,
at all.
I'm the same. I haven't got those in either.
Yeah, they're
I don't have anybody like that.
They're gone. Unfortunately, there's still one or two on the periphery for me, but yeah, there's kind of. You know, there's train fares and organisation to be done before anything like that goes on. So I can always, I'm doing my hair that day. There's always one of those ones. Do you know what I mean? I can always use that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so here's a question to break this down a bit more. Here's a question. So are we saying, and it's not gonna, when I'm gonna start with you, bro. Are we saying then, is loyalty to a friend more important than justice? And I'm asking that in a round. Is it more important than justice?
loyalty in its essence is really important to me, but justice is definitely far more important, because I know with the justice thing, it's something it's within my spirit, it's within my character. Like, being just is really important. Loyalty, that can be broken. I know that, but justice for me is a very big integral thing for me. So to go against justice, whoa, I'm telling you, man, you better be a super friend, bro, because
Do you think that's an age thing as well?
I do, because I think when I was younger, loyalty outshone what justice, because it didn't kind of make sense. But because I don't know, in terms of growing and becoming more wiser as an individual, and experiencing the world probably a bit more. Imagine I'm a young guy growing up in South London. All I knew was my friends from South London, really. Learning justice and understanding how important it is to me, that was secondary. Although I knew in the back of my mind, okay, let me give an example. If I saw someone being aggressive towards someone even that I didn't know when I was younger, that would bother me. I might not do nothing at that particular point in time, but it would bother me for a long time. I would want to get involved, but I don't know you, so what am I getting involved for? But it will still be there. So as I've grown and developed that character, now if I saw someone getting mugged in the street, I'll get involved. And if I thought for 1 minute it was wrong, something that was going on that's wrong, I'll get involved, because my justice will push me to do that. And I don't even have to know somebody, but I will get involved. But
Just
when I was younger,
careful.
of course,
Yeah.
pick your battles.
Yeah.
So
But
when
sometimes you just
when I
hold
would-
on. Sometimes when it comes to these kind of things, it's spontaneous. I've got involved in a situation spontaneously, but I just wanted to just go on this loyalty bit, right? When I was younger, I was loyal to my friends because that was what you did in the community. If you wasn't loyal to your friends, you wasn't seen as a part of the crew, so to speak. So that was really that was more peer pressure. I'm going to be loyal to you because it's seen as the right thing to do. But not in my heart, I wasn't. In my heart, I would think, no, that's wrong. You can't be doing that. I've seen friends do things, or so-called friends do things that I thought that's an injustice. Yes, that's not right. But I'm going to be loyal to you because the streets say you should be loyal. You see what I'm saying? But in my heart, it wasn't. So, sorry, what was the question again?
So is loyalty to a friend even more important than justice?
No, justice is more important.
Perfect. So I'm challenging you on this fictitious dilemma now. So I'm challenging you, bro. In the situation we've all said, depending on the person who is. Now I'm challenging myself here, and I'm challenging Anthony, I think, here as well, which is we're saying that what you just said is justice is more important than loyalty. I'm with you. Okay. So if I come in and I tell you I've hit someone and they've banged their head and they're now in a coma, and the authorities are asking and the family are asking, how is it that you're going to not bag me in? Because that's loyalty to me.
I can answer the question.
Please.
I can answer it. Okay. I'm in a situation where I'm now having to justify everything to myself. So my own rules of justice is coming forward to a certain degree. Not completely, but to a certain degree. So my rules of engagement are, my lawyer in my head is saying, what was the circumstances? Before I go to the police or anybody else, I need to understand what happened. So I need to justify to myself my next action, which is to go and report this crime to the police, because not every crime I'm going to report to the police. But if I feel that my friend, which I've got to have some kind of loyalty to, because I wouldn't have been around him at this age if I knew that he was the type of person to do something wrong like that.
Yep.
So this is what I'm saying. I had to question, just like Anthony said, just like you. I had to question him.
Yes.
On the scenario.
Yes.
To find out if what he had done, if he was wrong, or if he was right. Because at the end of the day, I could get into a situation tomorrow, and I could be the one that's the aggressor, not the aggressor, but defending myself.
Yeah.
In a situation, because I know I would.
Yeah.
Defend myself if someone stepped to me in the wrong manner, and that could quite easily happen. I could hit someone, and they could fall and hit themselves, and something bad happen. But if I find out that you was the aggressor, there's where my justice is now going to say, I need to communicate this to somebody else.
I love it.
My justice is kicking it.
I love it because I think what I'm hearing you say, sorry, Anthony, I'm going to come to you with the same question, bro. But I love it because what I'm hearing you say, Win, is you're not talking about, you're not necessarily talking about the societal, worldly form of justice. You're talking about what you see, your understanding, your inner lawyer, your version of what is justice here. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Anthony, same question to you, sir. Let me read it. Sorry, because we spoke. So, is loyalty to a friend even more important than justice, sir?
I hope that's not vodka you're drinking as well, by the way.
Isn't it?
Was there ice in there?
Come in telling us you've had a Barney outside.
It's cold water. Ice cold water, my friend. Right?
Okay.
Just put this in a nice little posh glass. Ice cold.
Just chilling. Just a second.
I really think it really depends on. I think it goes back to what you said as well earlier. Choose my friends and who I'm around with anyway, right? Big time. And I'll be honest, when I go out, I know I'm a bit of an advocate. I always talk to people about recommendations, right? I always say to people, look, if you get into a situation, such and such happens, I put it in people's brains because they now know that whatever their action you take, so you're now responsible. You can't say you don't know, right? So that's what I do when I'm going out with people. I say, look, whatever. As for loyalty, I gotta remember, can I sleep at night? That's where my conscience happens. And my conscience is a big leveler on this whole situation, because you said something very, very absolutely bang on with me as well. When I was younger, I'd say, you know what, you're my mate. We got to see somehow we can get around this, right? Because I ain't getting my mate going down. I'm not. That's my loyalty when we're younger, because we're not really, I suppose we don't look into how the implications is happening on everybody else. We just look at what's going to happen to your friend.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
We've got a more tunnel vision. As we get older, we have a more broadened vision. And then we start looking at all the consequences. That person's got a child. That person's got a brother. That person's got a wife. All these kind of things start to come in. So for me, I have to think now, how will I be able to sleep at night knowing that the guy that I know who done that, and basically they were a bit stupid, has now ruined that person's life? Because I start thinking, imagine it had been you, Nick.
Yeah.
You're the one who's a victim. Imagine that you're the victim. And I see now how it's going to affect us. I wouldn't stop crying, I'm a big guy, I don't give a shit. But I'm my mates. If I love you, I'm gonna. It hits me, and I want justice. So this is the kind of things that play into my head more and more as I get older. But when I'm younger, I never thought of things like this. I just thought of me and you and me against the world, right? And that's kind of how it's changed. So for me, it really depends on the level of what's happened, because it could be something like another subject. I'm not going to try and go off it. A man that's somebody that you knew has beaten a wife, and you know the woman, or you know somebody who's molested a child, and he's your friend. Do you see, when you look at different dilemmas, some of them become a little bit more easier to say, no, I'm shopping you in, right?
Absolutely.
right? You've done the children. No, if you're into children, that's one of my weak points. I cannot tolerate violence to women, and I cannot tolerate anything to children, right? So that's not game over. I'm sorry, I'm dropping you both in. I don't give a shit, because that's
You better believe it.
on the children thing. I don't give a damn who you are on the planet.
Might be.
And take the apology out. There's no apology needed. So you should.
It's gone.
Absolutely.
It's done. I'm going down there. I'll be the first one.
So,
But when it's a confrontation like this, it's more about how it will affect my conscience in the future. Will
Okay.
determine what I will do.
okay. So I want to share my little bit, because you both spoke on the word loyalty. And I had this conversation with somebody who asked me if I was loyal to them. Now, we had this conversation, and now what I've done as I've got older, and it goes back to this choosing your friends wisely. This is going to sound really strange, but try and hear it not just at the surface level that I'm saying it, because I'm not the most elegant guy in the world. My loyalty will never get challenged with the people in front of me on Mike Mendez, because you guys won't put me in a situation where it needs to be challenged. When we was younger and running around doing what we was doing and hanging around with people that was hanging around with and going out to this place and that place, and people were drinking or taking whatever they're taking, okay, now I understand that I have to be loyal to them. So it was kind of that bit of if I was with somebody and they got into an argument and I was thinking my friend is out of order here, I would still back my friend. Like Winston was saying, I would still back my friend, but then in private, behind closed doors with me and my friend, I would then say, you was the dickhead here. You was out of order. However, now I don't, like we said, I don't have those ones around me. So my loyalty is never, it doesn't have to be questioned. Because my thing is, if Winston, as much as I have respect and honor for you guys and Winston and Michael, if you bring a situation to me that causes me that, then I've got a question, and that's, where's your loyalty to me here?
That's a good point. Because I wouldn't be jetting anyway. Because if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be leaving the situation with you to have to deal with it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be doing that.
No.
I'd be waiting for the police to deal with my own personal justice and speak my truth, so to speak.
Should we wrap up now and just call it a day, and we'll see each other next week?
Yeah.
Peace and love, beautiful
Adios,
people.
amigos.
Peace.